Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Off the Grid with your host, Chris G. This is the very first episode of Off the Grid. I'm not sure if that name's going to stick or not because I got to do research on it to see if anybody else has it. But like everybody else and their mama, yeah, I'm starting my own podcast. So what? What's it to you? What do I want this podcast to be about? I want it to be about anything and everything. How you doing? How's your mother? How's your father? What's inspiring to you? What motivates you? Pop culture, entertainment, comedy. We're going to keep it lighthearted. We're going to keep it witty, fun. I'm not going to beat you down with hour and a half podcasts. I'm going to chop these up into small consumable segments for your entertainment. Now, before we get any further, follow me at ChrisG_comedy on Instagram. And on YouTube, my YouTube channel is Gindo Media. That's the YouTube channel, Gindo Media. And if you want to email the show and participate and ask questions or try to get on and be a guest with me, see what you got. It's GINDOENT@gmail.com. GindoENT@gmail.com. So going back into my very first episode, welcome. Stick with me. This is an experiment. I want it to be fun. We're not going to get too serious here. Talk about anything and everything, like I said. And I have a guest today, and I think she has a pretty interesting and fascinating story to tell. She has her journey the last 5 years have been very interesting, and that's why I wanted her to be my very first guest today. Her name's Marjan Watson, and let's give her a call.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Marjan, MJ,
Yes.
how do you want to be addressed? Miss Watson? Mrs. Watson?
Marjan's fine.
Marjan? Okay. Awesome. So, thank you for being a part of my first episode of the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. What do you think about the name Off the Grid with Chris G?
That's nice. It's got a good ring to it.
Yeah, I'm just throwing things against the wall, seeing if they stick. We'll see. I have to do some research to see if anybody's even got that. I kind of did it a little bit of research the other night, and not much came up. It's more like professional people talking. So, but yeah,
pretty hard to run a podcast on your own, though, I would think.
Yeah, I'm just an amateur, so this is all an experiment. But I wanted you to be my first guest because you have a very fascinating life. It seems like, especially the last 5 years of your journey. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about how we first met through our company event.
So much fun.
We don't have to name names or nothing like that. But yeah, I remember flying into California, Southern Cal. Where were we? Do you know where we were?
Yeah, LA.
LA?
Yep.
Do you know what beach was it by? Was it?
That was, I think, Hermosa.
Hermosa?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a nice meet and greet for the company and yada, yada, yada. And you kind of hung out with the new hire group because was it your new hire too, or had you been?
It was.
Yeah, so it was everybody's new hire event. And
we had a great crew.
Yeah, we had a great crew. Not too many of that crew remains with the company. But anyway, so yeah. So tell me about your, where were you born and raised?
Well, I was raised here in Southern California. I was born in Iran in 1980, so right in the middle of the revolution. And I think a year or two in, my family, we just took off and left towards Dubai and England, and we finally ended up here in Southern California. And so, I was just a little traveler from the beginning, I guess.
So,
So that's kind of crazy. I'm just like all the other Persians that are here escaping the revolution over there.
right. So your story is similar to a lot of your friends that you have there that are Iranian.
Yeah. And well, I would say half of them were like born here. My sister was born here, and then the other half, like we were all born there and moved over of the ones that I know. And we all kind of have like the same um, mentality, and we're not like really religious or anything. So when it became a religion, like religious thing, we just left. We bounced.
Right.
So yeah, because there's nobody like Muslim in my family, and it became an Islamic revolution. So that's
Got,
not.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
didn't know that about you. I didn't know that you were born over there and then came over here,
Yeah.
escaping
A
that.
lot of people don't know that. Now they do.
Yeah, now they do. So that's great. And so you moved over here when you were about 2 or 3?
I was here, I think maybe actually closer to 5.
When you were 5?
And then, yeah, I got into like, what is that, preschool, kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
Yeah. So around that age.
Gotcha. And when you came over here, do you remember much of that?
Um, I remember more of like random bits of England and like Iran and Dubai, but not like when we first got here. So that's kind of weird. But
Right.
I think I think I've blocked out a lot of memories, to be honest. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I don't really want to know why, but I feel that way.
Yeah, I hear you. I think I have some memories I need to tap into too. So about what grade do you consciously remember from that point on?
I would say like first grade.
First grade.
Yeah. I somehow still remember my teacher's name. I don't remember any other teacher's names, like in my entire existence, except my first one. I
Wow.
don't know why.
Wow.
Mrs. Welch. Shout out.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You don't remember high school?
No, I remember high school. I remember everything after like first grade.
Oh, okay. So how was
Yeah.
high school for you?
High school was um weird. It was I was definitely a confused child, that's for sure, because it
Confused?
was like
Yeah.
I would go to school and I'm around Americans and a completely different way of life. And then I come home to like my Persian parents and family, who are trying to keep that side alive to an extent,
Right.
but also we're afraid of like, well, we don't know how it is here. We don't like, we just see all this terrible stuff on the news that happens, especially to young girls. And so they were like really strict on me, like really, really strict. And so it was just tough to like balance the two. And so I would get bullied and I would be like this weirdo and people would just call me names and throw like shit in my hair because like I wasn't doing what the other girls did. Like I was a little tomboy. It was like the grunge era.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
so I was rocking my like grungy Kurt Cobain like dirty looks and stuff, and
Love it. Yeah.
didn't wear like makeup or anything like that. And then because my parents wouldn't let me, but then I looked weird to everyone else, so then I'd get made fun of at school. So it was kind of a weird time in my life. And I
So
didn't really know how to like balance that well.
so bullying, like other girls bullied you or just, boys and girls?
Both.
Yeah.
The boys were the worst.
Oh yeah.
And it was interesting because one in particular who would always make fun of me, make me feel like such a piece of shit, and then like randomly asked me out to a dance.
Yeah.
And I said no.
Yeah.
So I guess that, like, what do they say? If a boy likes you, they tease you. It's like a
Right.
horrible thing to tell a girl, but
Yeah. So with that being said, did you do get good grades or anything like that? Did it mess with your academics?
no, I got good grades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got good grades and then got into the, like, I wanted to go to U of O, and do microbiology. That was my major. I wanted, oddly enough, to study viruses as well. And so at the time, University of Oregon was like perfect, like, university for me. And it was, I think, one of two places that I applied to. I got into both, but I preferred University of Oregon. Anyways, got in, so excited, and then, like, shit hit the fan. Parents got divorced. Dad had a major, major stroke, like, to the point where he didn't know who I was.
Oh.
And so I just decided to kind of stay back here and not go over there and not really pursue anything or try and get over to Oregon, when that kind of drama was going on in my family life. So I stayed back and I just went to a junior college, and then I transferred to a an interior design trade school, and I got certified.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, I studied hard in high school, and then, like, once I was like 20, 21, like, I just went crazy.
You went
And
crazy.
yeah, everything that my parents probably were afraid I would do in high school, I ended up doing later.
Right, right. Yeah. That kind of happens, I guess, if you're too sheltered or in a
Yeah.
conservative household where you're not allowed to do much, then you rebel later on in life when you have more
Yeah, I
freedom.
definitely did that.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, moving on, do you wish that you would have gone to Oregon or
I do wonder what if. Like, I wonder, like, obviously my life would be so different had that happened.
right?
And I just wonder, out of sheer curiosity, like, what could have been.
Yeah.
And so, because of that, maybe it's why, like, I don't like to live my life wondering what if. And so I just kind of, like, go for it with everything random, and it's gotten me into terrible places. But at least I can say I tried.
Yeah.
I'd rather say I tried than wonder, well, what if? Because I hate this feeling, and it's just a college, you know?
Yeah.
It's a career. Well, I mean, it's like my whole life would have changed, but still, I don't know.
Yeah, for me,
I'd be curious.
I didn't go to college right after high school either. I many reasons why I just was not a traditional student. Just my upbringing was a little dysfunctional
Hmm.
too, and just I never was encouraged or really pushed to go to college, and I didn't know how to apply or anything like that. And I don't know. I just thought I could work my way to success, like physical labor work. And
Hmm.
yeah, I look back on life. I mean, now I don't regret anything because I'm in a good place now. But sometimes I
Yeah.
wonder what it would have been like to have that on campus experience, to move
Right.
away and live in dorms and have friends and stuff like that.
Totally.
So, but I never got that experience. So we all
Yeah.
learn the hard way.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
just my life's motto. I guess I'll learn the hard way.
yeah. I mean, I've learned the hard way many times, and it looks like my son's gonna be learning the hard way too if he doesn't start behaving. But yeah. Anyway, so that's your teens,
Yeah.
20s. When did you
Yeah.
tell me about when you first found your love for hockey?
I obviously I love the Mighty Ducks movies, but didn't think too much about them even though they were like right here in my own backyard.
Right.
And then randomly in, I think it was 2000 or 2001, I went to my first hockey game, and it was like on the glass next to the penalty box. And I was just like, okay, this is some shit I can get into. This is a sport I can follow. Like, I respect them. They're doing all this shit on ice skates, like
Yeah.
stuff that like most other athletes would not be able to do. And so it just, oh my God, the like respect began then once I was like there in person, saw it. And of course, whoever was in the penalty box at that particular game decided to give me a puck, and it was just amazing. And that's when I was like, this is a great game. Like, I just fell in love right
Yeah.
then and there with hockey.
Do you remember who they played?
I don't. I want to say the Devils, but
Yeah.
I think that's wrong. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's amazing. You use a word. You use the word respect in that.
Mm-hmm.
Who taught you the word respect?
My parents.
Your parents. Okay.
Yeah. Especially from like a Persian background.
Right.
Yeah. Parents, grandparents, everyone in the family. Like, we're all pretty tight with each other. So all of them did, really. It's just part of our culture.
Just respect.
Respect is a big one.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you feel like respect is earned? Or is there like a base level respect just automatically and then you gain more respect?
I think it's both. Like, for me, and I think this is true for most Persian people my age or younger, we'll all look at like anyone that's older than us,
Right.
and you have to automatically have respect. That's just the way. That's just the culture. So you're taught that from the get-go. And then I think people that you meet that are like your friends or people that you're dating or whatever, yeah, I mean, you don't disrespect people, but I think that a lot of it is earned, especially when you're dating somebody.
Right.
Just because, I don't know.
And like,
I've had some terrible, like, previous partners, and it's like, again, I had to learn the hard way.
right. And then they lose all your respect.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel I'm the same in that sense. Not from Persian background, but the growing up for me, I grew up around a lot of older people who are no longer in my life anymore. You know, they passed away. You know, when I was growing up, but I was one of those kids that it was one of those things where the kids were to be seen and not heard. And,
right.
and as just, you soak up a lot of knowledge from the older people that are around, socializing with themselves. And, you know, they tell you about respect, you know, respecting authority figures, your teachers, you know, people you go into their businesses, you got to respect their business, respect property. You don't want to be busting out windows and tagging up.
As a little girl, my mom actually even taught me to respect the house.
Yeah, respect.
She's like, this is the house over our heads, like the roof over our heads, and it takes care of us, we take care of it. So you don't slam doors, you don't slam, you know, cabinets or anything like that, even little things like that.
Yeah. Well, going back
which is now basic courtesy.
Basic courtesy, yeah. People are losing it. But
yeah.
Going back to hockey, I remember my first hockey game. It was the Blackhawks versus the Islanders.
Of course, Blackhawks. That's right.
Yeah, I was up in Chicago still.
Yeah.
And my dad took me there way up. I wasn't on the glass like you, but yeah, I was way up in the 300 level. But that particular game, there was like 3 or 4 fights that game, right? That doesn't happen anymore at all. And
I know.
Chris Chelios, who was our Hall of Fame hockey player, who he was in 3 of those fights. One player got into 3 fights that game until he got kicked out. I think he finally got kicked out on the 3rd fight. Yeah, that was nuts.
What, like a game misconduct?
Game misconduct, something. I just remember that, the video screens that they play when there was a fight, and
yeah.
And then when they scored the goal, the big horn that they blow. And
it's just an experience, isn't it?
It's a great experience, even though I was way up high, and I loved it. The stadium's cooler because the ice is exposed. So you got that like feeling of like, I don't know, just being in a cooler environment, like temperature wise, just kind of, it's refreshing. It kind of keeps you awake,
It sure does.
So I had a great time with that. That's when they had Belfour. Hawks never did much. The Red Wings were always in our way. And then the Avalanche back then were really good. But I remember a lot of those Duck teams back then. Had a lot of friends that were Mighty Ducks fans. And we liked Paul Correa and who was the other? Teemu Selanne.
Yeah. They were my 2 favorites. And I also love Jaguar and Niedermeyer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And I didn't know, I was researching, I didn't know actually the Walt Disney Company created the Mighty Ducks team.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they sold them in the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah. Now the Samuelis own the Ducks.
Yeah. Any predictions for this coming season?
Oh, geez. No idea. It's just thrown me for a loop. And now that we have Seattle, I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Seattle.
1 more month.
The Kraken.
Yes, the Kraken.
Yeah. I seen a guy.
Coolest logo.
I don't know where I was I was somewhere traveling and I seen somebody wearing a shirt and I was like, what shirt is that? And I was like, oh yeah, that's that Seattle hockey team that's coming up.
Yeah, great logo. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, we got them and the Las Vegas Knights. I don't know how you feel about them. All right, well, that was
I'm not a big fan.
Have you ever played hockey?
No. My God.
Not even
I would
like street hockey.
Break my face.
Yeah.
I rollerbladed and stuff like that, but I never actually like played a game. I'd probably kill myself or somebody by accident.
Did you ever play sports in high school or anything like that?
No, I was like not athletic whatsoever.
Right.
Like I was always that girl complaining when we had to run the mile.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if we had to get in the pool, I was like, no. What excuse can I come up with today to not participate?
Oh, they made you swim too, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't have swimming where I went.
Yeah, they like broke it down. Like we'd do like basketball, volleyball, swimming, throughout the course of the year. And the swimming. It's just not. No.
Yeah. So
early in the morning swims, it was not for me.
Yeah, what town did you go to high school in?
Aliso Viejo. So I went to Aliso Niguel High School, like the year after it was first built. So I came in and it was like we were the second class as a freshman. Mm-hmm. So it was the second year, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it was a pretty brand new school.
So in school was that in Los Angeles?
No, Orange County.
Orange County?
Yeah.
And for high school over there, do you have to apply to high schools or do you just go to one that's near your district?
Yeah, you just go to the one that is in the district, like that you live in their district. However, I wasn't supposed to go to this high school. I was supposed to go to Dana Hills High. And for some reason, I just wanted to go to the new Shiny Bright High School.
Right.
So I figured out a way to like ask the principal and whatever I had to do back then
Right.
to go to that high school. And so I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
Well, moving on from all that, you are now married, and
Yes.
um, tell us a little bit about how you met your husband, Adam,
Yep.
Mr. Watson.
So,
Yep.
yes, Mr. Watson. We met digitally at
Mm-hmm.
first. Um, it's because we're both fans of the Ducks. And so we were at like the same place in our lives where we're both divorced. And we both were like, wanted to be single. And that was it. I was in a place where I was like, if I'm alone forever, that's fine with me. I
Hmm.
had really come to terms with that and been okay with it. And of course, like during that year, I meet him. And so I think he like left a comment on one of my pictures, and I messaged him saying, "Hey, if you want to go to a game, I've got like a crew of people going this Friday. I don't think we've met you." And he was like, "Oh, I would love to go, but I live in Queensland." And I'm like, "Is that in LA?" Like, I don't know where Queensland
What
is. What is
neighborhood is
that?
that?
Yeah. What freeway do I take? Um, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, no. I live in Australia." And I'm like, "How the hell did you become a fan of the Anaheim Ducks?" And
Yeah,
he's like,
tell us
"Oh,
about that.
Mighty Ducks movies."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if those movies had never been made, I would never have met him.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird to think about.
And
But
this
yeah,
this was a Mighty Ducks like Instagram page or something?
no, it's just we ended up following each other like years before that because of the Ducks.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
like how I also have I've made a lot of friends going to games, and you know, you use a hashtag for a game, let's go Ducks or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah, of course.
And you just end up following the same people, and then you meet up at games, and then you become friends. And so now I've got like all these awesome people I've met because of the Ducks in my life. So it's really cool, actually.
So then how did you when was your first meeting with Adam?
Um, so I decided I'm big on traveling. So um, about I don't know, maybe 3 months after we started like chatting, I just booked my ticket to like visit for a few weeks.
Hmm.
No intention of like thinking about a boyfriend, B getting married, C moving to another country.
Right.
Um, and I went there in I think it was like February 2017. Yeah. And he just like he surprised me in a really good way. We had a blast together. And so after the 3 weeks, I came back and I was just like, shit.
You missed
One of
him.
us is gonna have to do something about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you came back, you guys started to miss each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so the plan was to like just visit each other um back and forth until we figured something out. But you know, I'm so impatient, and like I can't, like that's just too much anxiety for me. Like that is the longest type of long distance relationship that you can ever have. I can't hang with that. Like not healthy for me. So after 3 months, he's just like, well, if you're open to it, you can come here and we'll just figure everything out. And so that's exactly what I did. He
Interesting.
wasn't comfortable moving here at the time because he had only been to LA with like a friend years before that. So he didn't really know anything other than like that trip and like what he sees in the media and like the movies and all that stuff. So they have like a different perspective on America.
Scary.
So he didn't really want to come here because he's just like, oh, it's just all guns and shootings and
Yeah.
drama and bullshit.
Yeah. The media.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, and so he had his other reasons too. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll come there. We'll figure it out. And so, yeah, that's how we started going.
Well, tell me about Adam. Is he great? Got a great accent, I bet. And
Good accent.
yeah, is does he have a nice? Did he, college career? Does he have a nice career going for himself?
Yeah, he's really happy. He works at a private hospital over there,
Okay.
which would be like our version of a day hospital, like just outpatient basically.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess his technical like position name is medical assistant in that hospital, and he does love it.
So is he
So
dealing with COVID patients?
no,
Oh,
no, it's
okay.
literally like I had my knee surgery there.
Oh,
So it's like just day outpatient surgeries, boob jobs, um, they do dental surgeries there too and other fun things. But it's not like an actual hospital like to go to when you're sick.
right.
There's no ER at
There's
that
no
place.
ER. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. So is he a pet lover? What kind of music
he
does he
wasn't.
like?
Okay. So he was never into pets before me.
Right.
And so I'm like psycho about dogs and adopting dogs and rescuing. And we adopted our little crazy Tasmanian devil. And he's just, I think it's like changed his perspective on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And so I've turned him into a dog lover. He wasn't before. He was a little afraid of them. He'll
Yeah.
hate me saying that, but
Women can change men's perspective on things a lot of times.
only if the man is open to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I seen your little Tasmanian. What's his name? Your little doggy?
Rocco.
Rocco.
Yeah, he just looked up at me. He's like, "What?"
Yeah, he's a little black. What kind of dog is
Yeah,
he?
I don't know.
He's just a little mutt.
He's got to have like. There's definitely terrier in that voice of his. Um, yeah, he's a mutt for sure.
So you adopted him over there, or did you bring him with you?
No, I had my Chihuahua here that I had adopted, and so my aunt took him
Right.
when I moved over there. I didn't want to put this like 5 pound little Chihuahua angel
Yeah.
through the 15-hour flight
Yeah.
and then like I think it was a 90-day quarantine. I
Oh.
just could not do that to him. So she took care of him. I went there, and then like a year after we got married, or just less than a year, we adopted Rocco, and he's just the best boy. Love him.
That's great. So, hockey clicked with you guys. Um,
Hockey, music, just kind of like everything.
yeah. Is he into
Yeah.
grunge too?
Um, he he respects all music. We connected on rock, but like he likes metal and pop punk.
Oh, okay.
Whereas like I'm like whatever about those two genres, but everything else I like.
Right.
There might be like one pop punk song here or there, like throughout the years that I'll like.
So tell me about when you first moved over there. So when you moved over there, were you weren't married yet, right?
No,
And then so when you moved there, how long until you got married?
um, within the year actually.
Within the
I
year?
moved there June 2017, and then we got married March 2018. He proposed the November prior on my birthday, and because of like the visa process, and we had to have a wedding sooner than later.
Right.
And so obviously, like, not all of my people could make it. Just my two aunts and uncle came. I mean, it's a long flight and it's expensive, and it's just, I think like everyone in like that year was getting married. Like my cousins got married, my sister got married, I got married. So people were traveling everywhere. And so this was like the farthest like
Yeah.
anyone could go. So I only had my 3 people there.
It gets expensive. But everybody sent you something, right? A gift or something. Love.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I don't want to tap into that then.
The people that attended our little wedding did, I know that for sure.
Yeah. And his family's great.
Yeah, they're all really great.
Now
that was like
so
cooked? Nerve-wracking.
Who cooked in the house there? You or him?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Does he know how to cook much?
Yeah. He can make a meal.
So
I'm not too worried about him.
Yeah. Did you guys live in an apartment?
Yes. A few.
You just like rent there, or is it like condos or?
Yeah, you they don't have like apartment complexes like we do here, where like you have a leasing office. At least not where I was.
Right.
I never saw anything like that. And when I spoke to other people, they just looked at me like I was speaking a different language. Well, that happened a lot actually. But anyways, yeah, we would just rent from like a private owner, and moved around like every year, which was super annoying. But I guess that's just the way I roll. I have to do everything the hard way.
You're a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
So with the apartments and the living situation, yeah, tell me about the first, before pre-COVID, what was Australia like?
For me personally, it's a great place to visit, but not great to live in, because you come from America, land of like the plenty and just free and options of everything, right?
Yeah.
To maybe America back in the day is the nicest way I can describe it.
Yeah. Well, first off, what city were you guys in?
The closest city was Brisbane. So that's like an hour and a half flight from Sydney.
Brisbane.
Yeah. Brisbane.
Brisbane. Okay. And but you didn't live there. That was just the closest.
Well, I did live there and work there for a few years, and then we moved back to this area called the Sunshine Coast, which is where I originally like stayed at, and we lived up there with his friends. And so yeah, that first year was just kind of crazy, because every 90 days I had to leave the country.
Right. Tell us about that.
Then, yeah, it was just all the visa nonsense. So I was just on a holiday visa, and I would have to leave every 3 months and exit the country. And so we went to New Zealand, went to Hobbiton, saw all things Lord of the Rings. It was amazing.
Wow.
Came back and then came here to the U.S., and he met like all my friends and family. And then we went back there, and we got engaged, and we registered our relationship with the government, because you have to do that if you're not from there.
Right.
Which is totally foreign to me, but I mean, I don't know how to I haven't looked at the green card process for him in depth, but I know we don't have to register our relationship.
So it's not a marriage license. You're registering saying
this is
we're a couple.
Yeah. Oh. Saying we're together. We have been in a relationship. I had to provide them like proofs of like screenshots of text messages and
Wow.
yeah, like photos labeled, all sorts of crazy shit. And that wasn't even for like my actual visa process to get residency. So once we started that process, I was unable to travel. They they wouldn't let me back in basically if I had left, even on a trip somewhere.
Hmm.
So I went from one extreme to the other where you have to leave every 90 days to you're locked here. And if you want to leave, you're screwed. Like it ruins the process. So, and, and when I did get residency, freaking COVID hit.
Right.
So yeah, like I went 4 years like not seeing anyone. It was pretty, that part was pretty brutal. And just getting used to everything, over there
Yeah.
versus how, I'm used to it over here.
How you were
It
living
was a big
here.
shock.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just like the most ridiculous things would irritate me. It would just be like, well, why is this drugstore brand like XYZ, 4 times more expensive than what it is in the US? Like it doesn't need to be. They're just being ripped off. And so um just little things like that. And then like my migraine medicine, I couldn't get a couple of them over there that I had been taking over here. So I had to try other things which actually ended up screwing me really bad later.
Oh.
But yeah, that was hard for me, especially like in the first few years. I don't know what happened. It's like my body just said F you.
Yeah.
And like it was knee, boom, tumors, boom, another tumor, boom. Just so much drama with my health
Yeah.
that like my family's like, oh my gosh, does Australia just hate you, or does your body hate being there or something? Like, why
Hmm.
have you gone from 0 surgeries to 6 within 1.5 years of each other in Australia? So who knows? Who knows if any of that would have happened over here? I'm sure it would, but I
Yeah,
would
that's
just like to say
interesting.
that.
You think if you were still here that stuff would have still happened, or
I don't know, because like the first couple of years, I was so freaking stressed out,
you're stressed?
and that brings out a lot of bad shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Why were you stressed?
And just the process,
Just the process.
um,
Yeah. All the
and
rules.
trying to acclimate, and having little dramas here and there, and not feeling like I just belonged. It was
Right.
kind of like I was an outcast from day one.
Yeah.
It's not that people were mean to me or anything, but like you can tell when people are just like, don't give a shit about you. And
Yeah.
that's fine. That's totally fine. Not everyone has to like me or anything.
Yeah.
I don't like everybody,
Are there
but
is
it
there
was
any is there like a small is there Persian population over there, or?
nothing like how it is here in California.
Right.
Like here in California, there's so many Persians that during Persian New Year, they'll write like Happy Persian New Year, like on like flags and stuff, and just banners all throughout like LA and Orange County.
Yeah, absolutely.
But over there, not really. Like there was a Persian community, but it was nowhere near
Very
what
small.
it is over here.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I imagine, Australia is just it's a big island, and
Yep.
everything has to be imported and exported, and
Yeah.
is it
And
true
there's
that
not much
a lot
diversity.
of things, yeah, there's not much diversity, a lot of white folks over there?
Yep.
And uh, were there many black folks there, or?
Um, in the populated cities, there were,
Yeah.
but they were like legit African, like came from
Right, from Africa.
all areas of
Yeah.
Africa. Yeah.
South
Trying
Africa
to
and all
like go get school or a job
that. Right.
in the cities.
And
So
so
that's
what
what I noticed.
besides for white, British, whatever, what would you say is the second largest group of people there?
Um, I would say probably a heavy like Asian population.
Right.
Um, there's a lot of like Chinese students
Mm-hmm.
going to the schools, and again, these are in the like city areas. So when you're in the city areas, like there is more diversity, but then you get into the regional areas, and it's all white.
Yeah. That's
Sometimes there'll be like New Zealanders that are true New Zealanders and not like white New Zealanders.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, for the most part, I was always like the oddball out
Yeah.
everywhere I went.
Now, did things there close early? Like, could
Yeah.
you go out and get a cup of coffee anytime? Or
Ugh. Again, one of my things that like pissed me off over there was like if I got off work at 5 or wanted to have dinner with some friends or whatever, it would have to be early because a lot of places like shut at like 7 or 8.
yeah,
So, or they just close at 5. And it's like, why? Like, what? Like, coming from Southern California to that was like, whoa.
yeah, I bet.
You know, we've got 24-hour restaurants and like you can always get a meal somewhere, but yeah, not over there.
So then, I guess Australia started getting hit with COVID, and when do you remember what month they really started tightening down there in 2020?
Um, it was March. It
March,
went, they went like shut down from the world, and they have been since.
and they've been
So I
shut
have
down
no
since
idea.
March of 2020.
Yeah, and COVID's getting like it's the worst it's been now over there than it has been all of 2020 over there.
Yeah,
So that's like it makes me wonder like okay, well, the country has been in lockdown this entire time and now COVID's so bad over there in like Sydney and Melbourne and well, how did it get there?
yeah,
How on earth did the Delta variant get down there when you've been shut down? So something's not working or just something doesn't add up.
yeah. That's interesting.
Because a very small amount of people that are allowed to come in from another country, um, they have to do a mandatory 2-week quarantine at a hospital that the government puts them in. And the government doesn't pay for it. They just tell you where to go.
Right.
Um, so it's at your own cost. And then that's to, you know, relieve any more drama with COVID, right?
Yeah,
But clearly that's not working.
it's not working.
No.
And they also, I assume, they mandate masks.
Certain times in certain places will say like, okay, we're going to go into a mask mandate from 6 p.m. tonight to, you know, Monday night or something. It would just kind of be random times. Like Adam texted me saying, "Yay, our mask mandate's over today."
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
but he's not where Sydney is. That's in a different state. That's New South Wales. We were in Queensland.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking up like the type of government Australia has, and it's like yeah, I guess it is follows what the United Kingdom is kind of
Yeah, the Commonwealth.
the Commonwealth, but Australia does have its own political system. I keep seeing when I pulled it up, there's like some lady. Do you know who this lady is that keeps talking about everything? The prime minister or
She
something.
had brown hair.
Yeah,
Brown hair.
she got dark hair, a little older looking. She looks like
Yeah,
she's been living
I think she's
rough.
the Queensland premier, which
Queensland
is like
premier.
their version of a state governor.
Oh, a state. She's like a governor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of just Queensland, actually. If it's the same person, but the prime minister is a guy, Scott Morrison.
Scott Morrison. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about the lockdown and the restrictions that they've been going through. I see that they have a lot of protests there now, or protests
Yeah,
are going.
I'm assuming that that's just happening in Sydney and other places like Victoria. Uh, I don't know if there's any protests happening in Brisbane or anything like that. I'd kind of be surprised at that, to be honest, because they like Americans are the protesters. So I mean, I'm proud of them for speaking up
Yeah,
because with everything else, they just kind of like just take it and don't question it because that's just the way that it is. And I'm not like that, and most Americans are not like that.
yeah. So
So,
so about what time? Tell us about your thought process of when you were starting to think about coming back.
so I mean, we always talked about what we were going to end up doing, and the plan was to come here at some point and then retire in Hawaii because that's my sister just moved there, and I used to live there, and um, I'd like to spend my final years there, as morbid as that sounds. So we did not think that we'd be like coming over here this soon. Um, but my headaches and migraines have just been getting to a point where I just needed better care than was available here or there.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was actually his idea. He's like, look, I think it's just healthier for you in general to just go be back home and have all the things that you love, and you know, you can go to hockey games and be around your friends and family, and then I'll come out whenever I can.
yeah,
So we haven't started his process yet. I can't really start it until I find work, anyways. So um, yeah, we just kind of chatted about it in like I would say March of this year. No, April. And then I booked my ticket and then didn't realize that you actually had to ask for exemption to leave. But they let me book my ticket and
yeah. And
had
so
to ask 3 times. And on the third try, I got the green light. The first 2 times they denied me because they didn't want me to come back.
right.
And they don't want you to ask the Australian embassy for any assistance. So they needed to make sure that I wouldn't do that. So I had to, like, they really pry into your business. I had to give them 14 pieces of evidence that I was coming here permanently, that I was shipping my dog, my ticket, my goods, all that.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
crazy process.
so, do you think that process was because of COVID, or do you think that would have been a process if there was no COVID?
No, it would have just been a COVID thing.
It's a COVID
That
thing.
they're, yeah, that I don't know when will end.
Yeah.
And I spoke to the Department of Home Affairs when they first rejected me. And the lady on the phone said, the word is that we'll be shut as a nation like through 2025.
That's crazy.
But I don't know. Hopefully that's just a rumor that they hear in the office and that's not reality because that would really suck for Adam. Like if he were to come here and like has like he wouldn't be able to see his family until they reopen.
Right.
And even me, I'm a resident there, but if something happened to him right now, like I can go.
Yeah, you can't go see him.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
That's I don't know. That's weird.
It's so weird.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Australia is a weird government. Seems like they're overreaching, using
They're
their
just
power too
hardcore about
much.
everything. Yeah.
Hardcore invasion of privacy. You got to give them 14 pieces of evidence to show that you're never coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know how you even
That
do
I'm
that.
actually moving one way.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
way, get out.
Yeah. And
Well,
then it's just, yeah, I think I just had a weird experience, whereas most people might have a better experience. I don't know. I don't know if being Persian and American hurt. Like,
yeah,
because I always stood out, and, I did have some racist remarks thrown at me when
right,
I was over there. So
right.
wasn't super accepting.
Well, let
It
me
was just
ask you
weird.
this. Do you, as far as the racism goes, do you experience that anymore in California?
I never experienced it personally in California.
Right.
I did when I lived in Arizona for a year and a half.
Oh,
Um, Nothing big,
right.
but a comment.
Just,
And I was like,
yeah,
ugh, whatever.
just ignorance from people. Yeah.
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 But I know that my dad has gotten like people saying really bad things to him.
Right.
Um, Here now he's in a home, so he's not like out and about. This is like years and years and years ago.
Right.
But yeah, I've never, just because like we're so diverse over here
Yeah.
that it's just not a thing. It's just like what you expect, the diversity when you go out. You don't expect a sea of just one race.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. That was kind of like my experience in Chicago. I mean, I really didn't see racism or people use racist words until I moved south.
Mhm.
Around people who didn't grow up in a melting pot, around people who didn't have experiences growing up with other cultures or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you kind of learn that, early on as a youth, like on the playground. You're playing with all kinds of different cultures.
Yeah.
You're calling each other's names and stuff like that. You're just being kids, but
Mhm.
you learn when you go too far, when you get cracked in the mouth, or
Yeah.
they start coming at you in a different way. um and then you learn, and then you move forward, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a weird thing. But so tell me, how happy are you to be back home?
Very. I'm Yeah, like every day that goes by, I feel more and more closer to like me,
Yeah.
to who I am, because I feel like a lot of me was mm, taken away
Right.
in Australia.
Yeah. You're
And it
right.
was because I went there by myself and tried to start a life
Yeah.
in a very foreign environment.
Yeah.
And so, and then on top of it, not being able to like actually see like my friends, my family, my people.
Right.
It just, it really, really um, changed me. And so I'm feeling more like myself now that I'm back here.
And are you feeling a little healthier? Does your body seem like it's feeling healthier?
It does actually. The migraines will always be a thing. I've been dealing with this way before
Right.
Australia,
Yeah.
for the last 10 years. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. Um, Everything's okay as far as I know. I do need to have a couple checkups coming up
Yeah. But
because I did
mentally,
have a
but
couple
mentally,
tumors.
oh, you do?
Mentally, yeah.
Mentally and
I'm like
spiritually, you're feeling more
much
refreshed.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just seeing my friends and going to like my places, and even though it is a little bit different since 4 years ago when I was here,
Yeah.
um, it's still home.
Right.
But I am sad to see, like, I've been spending a lot of time in LA and Hollywood lately, and I I've just been seeing like what the drama of the last 2 years has done, and it's just sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, like businesses shutting down, and the
Businesses and like
homelessness and
homelessness is really bad. Like there's so much trash everywhere. LA.
tents
I
and
cannot believe it. Like, I've never seen it that bad before in my life.
Yeah,
So that's been a really sad thing to see.
that is sad.
So,
That is
yeah,
sad. I love that area. I love California in general. Just something pulls me out there. And I mean, I've been there several times, been up to San Francisco, been down to SoCal, San Diego,
yeah,
Torrance, Malibu, all that. And I love it.
so nice.
I love that lifestyle. I love Venice Beach. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to go back there so much and just people watch. But yeah,
Well, it's a shit show there now.
is it?
It is just covered in just trash and like homeless people. It's so sad.
Oh, that's
So
sad.
sad.
That's sad.
Like, I don't know. I think, I don't know what's going to happen with the elections coming up. Hopefully
Yeah, I heard
something will
about that
change and
governors being recalled and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. And quick story about my first trip out to LA. We went out there for our honeymoon. We stayed in Anaheim and went to Disneyland. And
Oh, yeah.
we were me and my wife, we went to go explore LA, and we were there the whole we had a whole week to kill. So we went
Hmm.
to explore LA. It was nighttime, and we were looking for the Staples Center. And and you know that area. And
I do.
we were driving around, and I mean, this is before we had GPS on our cell phones, you know.
Okay.
I mean, we could look things up on the phone and just like get general areas and stuff, but you still had to like print out like MapQuest. Remember MapQuest when you had to
MapQuest.
print directions out and stuff? So
Yeah.
we're looking. I'm like, it should be in the next couple blocks. Where is it, babe? And she's like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, we're going down this dark street, and I'm looking on each side of
Oh no.
on the car, and like it's just businesses with like they're boarded up, or they got those
Mhm.
roll down doors to shut them in cages on the windows
Yeah.
and stuff. And then we come to this red light. All of a sudden, the light changes. We stop at the red light, and then all of a sudden, I literally see about 40 to 50 people. Like it was like The Walking Dead, and they just come out of nowhere, people, and they were crossing the street, like not in the crosswalk, but all around the car. Like when the light changed, and then I started noticing like trash barrels with fires in them, and people like warming their hands and stuff. I didn't see any.
Shit. So you were at Skid
I was
Row.
in Skid Row. We got lost, and
Oh
we were like,
no.
oh, is this Skid Row? I heard about this, but I didn't know much about it at the time. And then that one movie came out with Jamie Foxx a few years later, where he's like a homeless like violinist or something
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
down in Skid Row. And that's when I like really like learned all about Skid Row and stuff. And then I kind of looked up the Cecil Hotel and all that stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah, and like so that was a interesting experience. And like, and I was like, wow, I wouldn't have thought Staples Center, a brand new stadium where the Lakers play, would be 2 blocks
So
or
close.
like a
Yeah.
block away from Skid Row. And that was interesting.
Yeah, it's like anything south of Los Angeles Street is Skid Row.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you've got like downtown LA right there. I mean, they're all really close to each other.
Yeah.
And then you get into like Hollywood, the further north you go, and then the valley. But yeah, it was just seeing the like sheer amount of just trash on the side of the roads and just homeless people. It's just like it's so different than even 4 years ago.
Right.
So I was surprised in a really bad way, like to come home to that, just driving home from LAX, like it's just shit all over the sides of the highways and freeways.
Yeah.
And then you get into Orange County, and of course it's like all cleaned up because it's the OC over here, and it's got to be perfect.
So
But
being back home now, do your friends like do you tell your friends how it was in Australia?
yeah, people ask me a lot of things. I think people are starting to realize certain things about Australia. that they didn't know.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, like, okay, so what I think happened is Australia was praised for doing such a good job, right? Because we had such low numbers.
Right.
And that's all you guys knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but the real like truth has come out that like, hey, we've actually been in lockdown since March 2020. They're trying to control every single person, and like, this is all because of COVID. But like, somehow, it's the worst now than it's ever been.
Right.
So like, it's just not like so many weird, illogical things like that would happen when I was there.
Yeah.
It would just drive me crazy. And I would always tell my family, I'm like, if it's logical, it's not here. So don't even ask me. And I started to feel that way when I went to the movies the first time. And then the second time I noticed it again. Before, like after the previews and before the movie, it says something like approved by the Queensland government, or not Queensland, Australian government, Canberra. And I was like, that's weird. That's like watching, like going to the movies or like the IMAX or whatever. And before that, it says approved by the U.S.,
Yeah.
government. It's like, I think we'd all be like, what? So that's when I learned that the government actually has their hands in like everything over there. Everything.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
It's crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of weird conspiracies out there about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't like that. That was my first like red flag. I'm like, shit, where have I moved to?
Yeah. Well, welcome home. And so moving
So
forward,
good to be back.
yeah. Have you gone to any like concerts or anything yet?
No concerts. The concerts that I want to go to are like not here. They're on the East Coast. That are coming up. A couple festivals with like Smashing Pumpkins and Nine Inch Nails and old bands like that. I just freaking love.
Yeah, I saw 9 Inch Nails like four years ago. Great show.
Amazing.
I saw them in Soundgarden right before Chris Cornell passed away. Like literally, he passed away, I think 3 months later.
No.
And but that show was so amazing. And I had never seen 9 Inch Nails before. And I like 9 Inch Nails, but I wasn't like a huge fan of 9 Inch Nails early on. But that concert blew me away. Like their performance was like amazing. And
I bet. I have not seen them in concert. And sad to say I never saw Soundgarden. So feels like I saw everyone else though.
And your friends and family are all happy that you're back.
Yeah.
And they're taking you out, buying you food and shots.
No, nobody's buying me anything.
Buying you anything. You still gotta pay for your own stuff.
But it's good to be back for sure.
Yeah.
Seeing my fellow Americans.
So what do you want to accomplish in the next 3 to 5 years?
We'll figure out what we are going to do as a married couple living in different hemispheres.
Absolutely. What time is it there right now?
It is probably like 5 a.m. over there, I would say.
Yeah.
5 or 6 a.m. So, yeah, and then I think we change time again at the end of the month or something like that. And I think it goes back even further. So it'll go to like 19 hours ahead of us, where like right now, I think they're 17 or 18 hours ahead of us. So that's kind of been hard to deal with. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, we're just trying to figure out, A, how can we get him here? B, when can we get him here? And then kind of go from there. I'm not making any big, like, decisions at the moment just because.
Right. That's the main priority.
The whole world is uncertain. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty everywhere right now. So.
Yeah. This entire planet is just in chaos. So it's like we're trying to make these huge decisions at a time where like we don't really we can't like, and everything can change. Like what I think right now for him, oh yeah, he'll be here in 8 months, maybe a year, whatever. That could totally change in a couple of months. So
true.
We really don't know. We're like, I was talking to him yesterday and he was just like, we just have to go day by day. And that's just the way that it is for now.
Yeah.
Which kills me because I'm so OCD and like anxiety and like, I'm a big planner, even though I do a lot of like spontaneous things.
Yes, you do.
I like need to plan things or else I feel like it's just chaos.
What's your zodiac sign?
Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
What's all Scorpios actually? Him and I.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Well,
I'm more of a Scorpio than he is.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other podcast.
Well, thank you so much for being on my first show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's been great to catch up.
Very, very good to catch up with you. And yeah, you can definitely come back on the show anytime. We can talk about whatever, get updates.
For sure.
And I'm glad that you're back home, and I'm glad you're around your friends and family and back to the lifestyle that you remembered, and you're you're back, getting your identity back.
Exactly.
And being the best MJ you can be.
I'm going to try.
So give Rocco my love. And give
Will
him
do.
A little dog treat. And
yeah, he's
does he like to take walks
right now from me?
Does he like to take walks?
He's kind of psycho on walks. he's just a bit territorial.
Right.
So he would like to take me on a walk, basically.
Yeah. Does he go crazy by people passing by? Or...
Yeah.
Does it? Okay.
But you know what, though? That is actually, it's so weird. It was so bad in Australia with him.
Oh, really?
And then he's here, and he's so much better. Yeah. Like, he's, like, I've been able to, like, when I took him out to, like, a shop, like, that would be unheard of in Australia.
Wow.
But over here, he was chill. He was fine. Huh. So I don't know what happened on his flight coming over here, but it taught him something good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks so much. And I will keep in touch with you. And I hope Adam is doing great. You guys Skype and stuff, or
yeah,
Zoom?
Just like
Zoom,
Messenger.
Yeah, through Messenger.
Yeah.
That's cool.
See, I can talk to him in like a couple of hours.
Yeah, he'll
be now because it's Saturday there.
Right. Yeah.
So because he works Monday through Friday, so I can talk to him like Fridays and Saturdays here. And then sometimes like if he stays up really late, then he'll catch me waking up.
Yeah.
And we can have like a few minute chat, but yeah, that's going to be the hardest thing, but I think we're getting used to that now, so
that's good. Well, I wish you the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, especially on your first podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to come back anytime.
Awesome. You have a good day.
You too.
I'll let you know when I'm about to upload this all.
All right, perfect.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, there you have it. My very first podcast with the fabulous Marjan. She told you about her experiences and everything, and we'll see when I upload this. Remember to follow at ChrisG_comedy on Instagram, and like, subscribe, all that stuff, and let me know what you think about the podcast. And Thanks for joining us. And email Gendo, ENT, @gmail.com. And this has been Off the Grid with Chris G. We'll see if that name sticks. See ya.